I absolutely love the Amazon Fallout series, but I had never played a Fallout game in my life, so I decided to platinum Fallout 4. The game released back in 2015 and honestly it still holds up great in 2026. And although it might be quite buggy at times, that didn't stop me from having a great time. The game pretty much starts with the bombs dropping and the main character scrambling to get himself, his wife and his son safely into the nearby Vault 111. After entering the vault, we're frozen, and when the main character wakes up again, things take a very dark turn. What? In a way. I'm gonna have to find that guy. With our son kidnapped and wife murdered, we made our way out of the vault and popped our first trophy. We quickly checked out our destroyed town and then we made our way towards Concord. And on our way we met our first companion, Dogmeat. In Concord we helped the group of people called the Minutemen defend themselves from raiders. And during this we used a suit of power armor to take down our first Deathclaw. Damn. Oh no. After actually taking it out, we met up with the Minutemen and their leader Preston back in Sanctuary, the town I lived in 200 years ago before I was frozen. And we popped our second trophy for completing the first Minutemen quest, When Freedom Calls. The Minutemen are one of the 4 factions in this game and their main focus is helping people at settlements. And when you unlock settlements you can start building and creating communities. And when I was helping a settlement clear out some raiders nearby, I reached level 5. For some reason, after taking out those raiders and recruiting that settlement, Preston wanted us to lead the Minutemen. And after saying yes, we popped a trophy for joining the Minutemen. Me and Dogmeat went out on an adventure in the wastelands before finally ending up in Diamond City, where we met the reporter Piper, who gave us a kinda crazy first impression. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Getting kinda close. I'm afraid of women. In Diamond City we got our next main quest, where we had to rescue Nick Valentine, a detective who has been captured and is trapped down in Vault 114. So we fought our way through and tracked him down, and it turned out he is something called a synth, which are basically synthetic humans. And since he was a prototype, he looks pretty ugly. And there was also something called a bobblehead behind him, which I have to get 20 of to get a trophy, and they gave permanent stat boosts. And after getting him out of there, he promised he'd help me try to find my son. But we also popped a trophy. With Nick's help, we actually managed to track down the guy that killed our wife and kidnapped our son. But before entering the building, we reached level 10. And after shooting our way through billions of synths, we came face to face with our wife's murderer. And he told us our son Sean is good and safe back at the Institute, which are the people that creates the synths. And from the rumors we've heard about the Institute, they are not easy to find. And apparently Sean is a little bit older than we might expect. But then it was time to kill the guy.
Oh, I'm ready. Question is, are you?
I'm not ready. Look at your head, it's gone. After leaving the building, I was witness to one of the coolest entrances I've seen in a game.
People of the Commonwealth, do not interfere. Our intentions are peaceful.
The Brotherhood of Steel.
We are the Brotherhood of Steel.
Yeah. We went back to Diamond City and together with Piper and Nick, we laid a plan of using the guy we just brutally murdered's brain in the memory den to access his memories to try to find a way into the Institute. And that conversation marked the end of this main quest and popped a trophy. I went to Good Neighbor, where the memory den is located, and with the help of Nick we were able to access Kellogg's memories. And in them we saw practically everything from his life. But right at the end, we saw our sun shone. And we also found out that the way people get in and out of the Institute is by teleporting. And after being pulled out from Kellogg's memories, I finished the Dangerous Minds main quest and popped the trophy. I found the Brotherhood of Steel and met a guy named Paladin Dance. I asked if I could join, but first he wanted me to help him get his hands on a deep range transmitter to repair the Brotherhood of Steel's communication array. Nice flip. And after a couple of minutes, when Paladin Dance finally managed to find a way out of the building, we went to ArcJets where the deep range transmitter was. And after we helped him get it, he offered us a spot in the Brotherhood of Steel and we popped the trophy. And real quick, if you're enjoying the video so far, please consider liking and subscribing. It genuinely helps a ton, especially for a small channel like mine.
One time, I killed a Deathclaw all by myself. No power armor.
I did some building back at Sanctuary, and after making some sheltered beds, providing clean water, food, and building defenses, I popped the trophy Sanctuary. Kaka! What the f is that? After recruiting 4 settlements, Preston thought it was time to take back the castle, an old fort that used to be the Minutemen's main base of operations. So we went there and cleared out all the Mirelurks and killed the Mirelurk Queen and popped the trophy for completing the quest Taking Independence. Me and Paladin Dance flew aboard the Pridwin, the big airship that this division of the Brotherhood arrived in, to meet Elder Maxon, the leader of this division. And we found out that they are actually here to go to war with the Institute and take out the synths. When speaking with Elder Maxon, he promoted me to the rank of Knight and awarded me with a full suit of power armor. And he also made Paladin Dance my sponsor, which made him my companion and popped a trophy for acquiring 5 companions. Back at the castle, we met an old Minutemen veteran called Ronnie Shaw that showed up after she heard we had retaken the castle. And she showed us the way into a hidden armory. And after making our way in there, she wanted us to build some artillery. But I held off on this because I didn't think I had the materials, although the materials are literally inside of the armory. And I just didn't realize. So instead I went to Sanctuary and started building, and I got the trophy for building 100 workshop items. I helped another settlement and got a trophy Community Organizer for allying with 3 settlements. Hey, Community Organizer! While out exploring, I got blown up by a mini nuke, and that got me a trophy. Shit. I came across something called the Freedom Trail, and at first I didn't understand what to do, so I searched the interwebs and I figured I had to follow these red lines. And at the end, I found the Railroad, a group of people that want synths to live their own life and be treated like human beings. After talking a bit with the leader Desmoda about synths, I went on a mission with a guy called Deacon, who vouched for me when Desmoda didn't trust me and he wanted me to join the Railroad.
Oh, fucking hell.
That was not okay, bro. After getting inside the Railroad's old base and getting something called Carrington's prototype, we returned to the Railroad, and with Deacon completely not making up anything, Smoda was impressed and asked if I wanted to join the Railroad. And so I did, and that popped the trophy. I knew at some point I would have to get a companion to the max level, and until now I had mostly just used Dogmeat and went alone because of the Lone Wanderer perk, which gives you boosts when alone. But now I started working on Piper's relationship level, because the perk I get when she is max level gives me double XP for persuading others and when discovering new places, and I thought that would come in useful for getting to rank 50 at some point. And unfortunately, upon my adventures, I came across a robot called Ada, who was getting attacked by other robots. So I helped her, and that popped a trophy from the Automatron DLC. And from here on out, this made it so that my settlements often got attacked by robots. While exploring, I also killed my 300 creature. Now my time with Piper was nice, but as seen earlier, I'm afraid of women. So, to finally be able to be left alone, I went to a place where I could pick a lock and then relock it with a terminal right next to it. And Piper likes when you pick locks, but there's an in-game cooldown period of 2 hours between every time you can raise your affinity. So I had to sit down on a chair and wait for 2 hours between every time I picked the lock. But then I popped the trophy for picking 50 locks. And then the trophy for reaching maximum relationship level with a companion. From Kellogg's memories, we heard about an escaped Institute scientist called Virgil, and his last known position was deep inside of the Glowing Sea, which is located in the southwest of the Fallout 4 map, and this place is filled with radiation and monsters. And first I found myself in the crater of Atom, where some of the children of Atom was located, and here I got the location of a rocky cave where Virgil could be found. I finally found him and learned that when he escaped he had turned into a super mutant, and he wanted me to get a cure inside of the Institute if he helped us get in. And he told me that we needed to track down and kill an Institute Courser. And a Courser is a synth assigned to hunt down and reclaim synths that has escaped the Institute. And they are very dangerous. But before tracking down the Courser, I went back to the castle to build the artillery that Ronnie wanted. And when I finally picked up the artillery supplies, I got a trophy for gathering 1000 resources used for crafting. And when I actually built the artillery, I popped another trophy for completing the quest Old Guns. I had a Brotherhood of Steel quest called Semper Invicta that I thought I had to do for the platinum, although I didn't. But it requires you to complete one of each of the repeatable quests, Cleansing the Commonwealth, where you just kill off a bunch of monsters, and Quarter Mastery, where you obtain a piece of tech for the Brotherhood. And because I have all the DLCs, both of these led me to Far Harbor. And when I arrived, I obtained a trophy for reaching level 25. And another trophy for completing the first Far Harbor mission. While here, I also did my 10th side quest, and I discovered my 100th location. I finally returned from Far Harbor and found out that there was no trophy for the Semper Invicta quest. But now it was time to kill this Courser, but everything didn't go smoothly. Did I seriously just become stuck?
I'm here to pick up an order. 2 large pepperoni and a calzone. Name is Fuck You.
If you're not here for this.
So, in the end I found him and took him down and got the ship I needed. And also completed the Hunter Hunted quest. Hunter Hunted. Let's go, baby. I went to the railroad and had the ship analyzed, and then I went to Virgil and found out how to make the portal. And then I had the option of asking the Minutemen, the Railroad or the Brotherhood for help building the portal, and I chose to build it with the Brotherhood of Steel. And so we were sent inside the Institute and got a trophy for completing the quest Molecular Level. Hello? Anybody home? Inside the Institute I took an elevator down and a guy called Father started talking to me.
Welcome to the Institute.
Thank you. But then we found the one we'd been searching for. The one who probably everybody that has played Fallout 4 has almost forgotten about at this point, because of all the sidetracking and the fact that the main character doesn't even seem that stressed about finding his son.
Sean?
Huh? Yes, I'm Sean.
Damn.
I'm your dad.
Father, what's going on? What's happening?
Sean, are you okay? You're not hurt,
I
are
don't
you?
trust
What's
these
going on?
guys.
Father? Father!
He's calling me Father, and the other guy names himself Father.
What want me to do, Sean? What can I do?
I don't know you.
Oh.
Go away. Father! Father, help me! There's someone here, help me!
Sean. S923, recall code Cirrus. Fascinating, but disappointing. The child's responses were not at all what I anticipated. He's a prototype, you understand.
What the f?
You're only just now beginning.
Why the f is my son a synth? The f did you do? But then big plot twist happens.
It's good to finally meet you. After all this time. It's me. I am Sean. I am your son.
What the f?
How is that even possible?
And so it turned out we had been refrozen for quite a long time after our son was taken, and he's now 60 years old and the leader of the Institute. And at the end of our conversation, he invited us to join and we accepted. And now it was time to do some exploring. And one of the people we met was Dr. Lee, a person who had previously worked for the Brotherhood of Steel and who the Brotherhood of Steel wanted back. And to make her return to the Brotherhood, we had to gather some evidence that the Institute is bad. And after exploring the Institute a bit, we went back up the elevator and used our network scanner holotape in a terminal to obtain information on the Institute, and completed the main quest Institutionalized. I also uploaded an encrypted message to reach out to a synth that has been helping other synths escape. And so I came in contact with him, and together we set up a plan to help a lot of synths escape. So first I had to kill a lot of guards and help them obtain weapons, and then they could fake their deaths in a mining accident. And after that I was told to just continue working with Father because they needed time. For next main quest, Father asked me to help a courser bring a synth home, and this was a painful journey.
Keep your eyes open. Think this asshole's using this.
I thought I was gonna die there, what the... Please... No! I was about to say, please don't have more than one ammo. It's him. Off, bro. What am I supposed to do? If I brought my fat man, I could shoot him first. Oh no! No! God. This is it. How did he reload so fast? What did he shoot at? In the end, I made it to the escaped synth, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care what happens to synths. If they're good, then they can be my friend like Nick Valentine. But if they're like this guy, bro, bye-bye. So I sent him back to the Institute. And after this, when I teleported back there, I started having this issue where my game would randomly crash when I loaded areas. And it mostly started happening when I teleported back to the Institute. No! What the fuck? Now for the next quest, Father ordered me to go to Bunker Hill to reclaim a group of escaped synths being held under the protection of the railroad. When I went there was a whole ass battle going on between the Brotherhood of Steel, synths and the railroad. And since I'm allied with them all, I could just run straight past them. And when I made it to the synths, as I said previously, I don't really care. And since these guys were nice and begging for their life, I killed the courser with me and let them escape. And then when I teleported to the CIT ruins to inform Father about what had happened, my game crashed. What the fuck? Why did this start happening? When I got back into the game, I went to the ruins to see Father, who had actually went outside for the first time ever since he was kidnapped as a baby. And he found it hard to believe that we were ambushed, and that's how the synths escaped. Although it wasn't completely a lie, the Brotherhood of Steel was there, and I don't know how they knew. But yeah, maybe I didn't tell him the truth that I killed the courser and let them go. But I had to stay on his good side. Back inside the Institute, we had a meeting, because the Institute needed more power, and they wanted to start the reactor, but first they needed to obtain something called a beryllium agitator. And so obtaining that was my next part of the main mission. But during this meeting, Father also told us that he has terminal cancer, and there was no way to cure it. So I just found my son again, and I found out he is dying. And then he named me as his successor, and I would be next leader of the Institute. And after the meeting, I popped a trophy for completing the main quest, Mankind Redefined. Mankind Redefined. Hell yeah, buddy. R.I.P. son. Bye-bye, son. Now I went into Virgil's lab and obtained the cure for him, and I also brought evidence to Dr. Lee that the Institute lied about his death. And because of this, she decided to join the Brotherhood again, and when I talked to Elder Maxon again, this completed the Brotherhood quest from within. Now with Dr. Lee back in the Brotherhood, it was time to build a giant robot. But first, I had to recover a high-powered magnet, and then I had to recover a bunch of Mark 28 nuclear bombs in the glowing sea to arm the robot. And then it was time to turn it on. But then unfortunately, because we had also given the network scanner to the Brotherhood of Steel, they found out that Paladin Dance is actually a perfect match for an escaped synth. And Paladin Dance had disappeared, and Elder Maxon ordered me to track him down and kill him. But Paladin Dance is my homie, and I wanted him to live. So I got his holo tags and was supposed to tell Elder Maxon that he was dead. But when we were leaving the bunker where I found Paladin Dance, something bad happened. Fuck off. Oh, that was not what I was talking about. But Elder Maxon showed up and saw that we had not killed Paladin Dance. But thanks to our high charisma stat, we convinced Elder Maxon to let Paladin Dance live. But he was still exiled from the Brotherhood, and if he ever tried to return, he would be killed on sight.
Shit! Fire at will! Target down.
What the f? Why was there a raider on the ship? Right, I just jumped off. After speaking with Elder Maxon again on the Pridwin, we got a trophy for completing the quest Blind Betrayal. Now the PSM profile guide actually tells you to make some hard saves on the quest molecular level to get all the different endings. But this is actually not the best place to do this, so I followed a different mission tree that needed 2 hard saves. And I found out later that there's actually one where you only need 1 hard save. But now was the time for me to make my first hard save needed for the Institute and Railroad endings. But before that I started exploring and doing side quests, and most importantly collecting all of the bobbleheads, so that I would have the most progress when I started doing all the endings. Now one of the first things I did to get access to one of the bobbleheads was a quest called The Secret of Cabot House, where I had to help a guy called Jack Cabot. And long story short, his father found an artifact which fused with his body and gave him supernatural powers, and also made him very violent and dangerous. And so his son Jack confined him in Parsons State Insane Asylum, where the bobblehead is. And while trying to find a cure for his father, Jack was able to extract a serum that him and his whole family has been taking that has slowed their aging, and has actually made it so that the whole family is over 400 years old. But now some raiders were trying to free his father, and Jack wanted my help to kill him. And when we were trying to reach him, I found my bobblehead, and when we got down there, Jack's father wanted me to free him instead of killing him. And I was really considering it until he freaking attacked me. What the fuck? No, that's scary. No, I'm gonna kill him. You're actually kidding me.
15 minutes later.
Off. No, that's it. Good night, good night. After this quest, I started collecting the bobbleheads one by one, and I suddenly popped a trophy for killing 300 people. I collected a bunch of other bobbleheads and then made it into Vault 81. And after returning a cat that I ran out when I entered, turned out the boy had found the secret part of the vault and got himself bit by a mole rat. So I went in there and found him a cure and got my 10th out of 20 bobbleheads. While in there, I also contracted the mole rat disease, which gives me a permanent 10 HP reduction, and I had the choice of taking the cure myself instead of giving it to the boy, but if you don't give it to the boy, you are straight up evil. So that's what I did.
Nice. Perfect. Yes. Yeah. Perfect.
During my bobblehead collection spree, I came across a boat filled with raiders, and here was a cool little Easter egg for a guy like me, because fun fact, I am Norwegian, and so was the raiders. Did bro just talk Norwegian? Oh my god, bro is Norwegian. The f is he doing here? Lost, what the f? Wait, they're all Norwegian. Ah, this is a cool Easter egg. And I continued collecting my bobbleheads, and eventually I had collected all 20 of them. Not long after, I also found my 20th magazine. And back at Sanctuary, I loaded up a holotape game, which popped a trophy. I went to Diamond City, which once was a baseball stadium, and if you run around the whole city, you get a trophy called Home Run. I also popped a trophy for hacking my 50th terminal. And then I did a funny little prank. Okay. Ah! Let's go. Pranksters return. There's a trophy for completing 50 miscellaneous quests, and when you call in a vertibird and boards it, it actually counts as one. So sometimes here and there I just called in one to make progress on the trophy. I then went back to Sanctuary and went to a weapon workbench, where I crafted a compensator, and when I switched between no muscle and compensator, and every time I did a no muscle, it went towards the craft 50 weapon mods trophy. When one of my settlements were getting attacked, I unlocked 10 robot mods, and that was a trophy for the Automatron DLC. I started crafting a drug called Jet because it's super easy to make, and I got a trophy Wasteland DIY for crafting 100 items. I then got the Mercenary trophy for completing 50 miscellaneous objectives. And now it was time for me to do the endings, starting with the Institute. And starting mass fusion with the Institute made the Brotherhood a permanent enemy. We got teleported to the top floor of the mass fusion building, where I got information on where to find the beryllium agitator, but for some reason the elevator down was closed, so I had to reload my save because this game is buggy. But we got there in the end, and I obtained the beryllium agitator and left the building. And then back in the Institute, it was time to start the reactor. Why is he black? Oh. After turning on the reactor, we had a meeting, and I popped the trophy powering up. After the meeting, I also put down my second hard save that I later had to reload to do the railroad ending. I went to speak with Father, and this time he wanted me to kill the entire railroad, so that's what I did. I am sorry about this. After taking out the railroad, Father also wanted me to take out the Brotherhood of Steel. But the Brotherhood has an EM field that makes it so the Institute cannot teleport straight to them. So I was first teleported to a side of the Brotherhood that was not that well guarded, but I wanted my power armor, and when I teleported back, I ended up in the completely wrong place, and everything turned into chaos. But in the end, I managed to destroy all of the Brotherhood's generators, and the Institute could freely teleport in. And then we hacked into their giant robot and made it shoot down the Pridwin. Holy shit, I should have looked. Holy shit. Holy moly. After returning to the Institute and talking a bit with my dying son, Father, there was a short black and white cutscene marking the end of the story. I got 2 trophies, Nuclear Family for completing the Institute's ending, and prepared for the future for deciding the fate of the Commonwealth. I reloaded the save after the meeting and went to talk to a synth working with the railroad. And he had obtained some Institute inside information that the Brotherhood was planning an attack on the railroad, so we went to warn them. And so we popped a trophy for completing the quest Underground Undercover. And right after, the Brotherhood attacked. After taking down the attackers, Desmoda wanted us to attack the Brotherhood. And so we went to steal a vertibird, and then we flew to the Pridwin, I placed some bombs, and we escaped. Bro, let me see the freaking thing, bro. Turn around. Okay, nice. Holy moly. And taking out the Brotherhood with the railroad popped a trophy. Now it was time to rescue the synths from the Institute. So we teleported the railroad inside, and with the help of my new favorite drug, Jet, I ran all the way down to the reactor and placed an explosive. After placing the explosive, I was teleported back up, and here the little synth boy named after my son wanted to come with me. So I said, why the hell not? We escaped, and I watched the Institute explode. Holy shit. And after the same black and white cutscene, I popped the trophy nuclear option, which you actually can get with the Minutemen or the Brotherhood's ending as well. Now I reloaded the save before I made the Brotherhood my enemy, so that I could complete their ending. Now the first thing they made me do was kill the entire railroad. Then we took a vertibird to the top of the mass fusion building, and here I did just the same thing as with the Institute, and I went and got the beryllium agitator. And with the beryllium agitator in the hands of the Brotherhood, we powered up the giant robot and made our way towards the Institute. And a small tip, don't walk in front of it. Did I get killed by Liberty Prime? Now this giant robot made us a way into the Institute, and when I got in, I popped a trophy for completing the quest Ad Victoriam. And now I could have just reloaded my railroad or Institute ending if I wanted to, because since I did the nuclear option with the railroad, I now have gotten all the main quest trophies. I did not even have to do the Minutemen ending. But I wanted to see if anything was different with this ending, so I went down to the reactor and placed the explosives. And after watching the Institute blow up and that same black and white cutscene, Elder Maxon promoted me to Sentinel, and that's it for the Brotherhood ending. And now I could have just continued getting trophies from one of these endings, but I decided I wanted to see the Minutemen ending as well. And with the Minutemen ending, both the Railroad and the Brotherhood stays alive. So with that ending, I have one more faction to work with than if I go with any of the other endings. First step, get banished from the Institute. Holy... This is the first time my game has properly lagged. Then I had to defend the castle when the Institute attacked. Let's go, baby. I found a way into the Institute through a water pipe and relayed the Minutemen in. And then I started making my way towards the reactor to blow it up once more. And you're black again. Feet. Of course. My son. I got down and placed the bomb, and after once again blowing up the Institute, it was time to get the last 3 trophies. The harder they fall for killing 5 giant creatures, Benevolent Leader for reaching maximum happiness in a large settlement, and Legend of the Wastes for reaching level 50. I started working on the Benevolent Leader trophy, following a guide on PSN profiles as well as a YouTube video. I went to Red Rocket Station and first placed down 6 mudfruit plants and 7 water pumps. I placed down 7 beds and started working on my defense, which I will admit I did go a bit overkill on. I then needed to place down 5 surgical centers, but I only had enough bottle caps for 3, so I went back to Sanctuary and made some more water purifiers to make purified water that I could sell for bottle caps. So now, while waiting for water and saving up bottle caps, I decided to track down some giant creatures. So I killed a behemoth, a Mirror Queen, and then another behemoth, and the trophy finally popped. I finally had enough bottle caps for the 5th surgical center, so now I just had to make the size bar yellow, which means it's a large settlement. To do that, I just spammed out a bunch of cat photos, wooden boxes, and bench presses. After Red Rocket Station was a large settlement, it was time to send 6 settlers over from the Sanctuary. When they arrived, I assigned 5 of them to the surgical centers and 1 to the mudfruit plants. And now, every time the happiness increased, I had to sleep for 48 hours and then wait for the happiness to increase once more. And now all that was left was wait for the happiness to increase to 100. For some reason my happiness started out at 38, which is a lot lower than the guys I was watching, but it was fine, it just meant I had to wait a bit longer. What the f***? There's ghosts here. It took about 1 hour and 40 minutes to go from 38 happiness to 100, but we got there in the end. Let's go! Now get me away from these freaking ghosts. Okay. 1 trophy left. That's getting to level 50. And I'm so close. Being so close to level 50, I went out to get myself some more XP. Is he not gonna fucking explode? Fuck! 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 And with that close call, I decided it's best to just go home and do some building to push me over the edge. I'm gonna build some bench presses. Boom. 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 Let's go! Legend of the Wastes. Platinum trophy. Let's go, baby. So that was it for Fallout 4's Platinum. It took me 58 hours to complete and I really enjoyed this one. It's a great game, and if you haven't played it and you're considering it, I would definitely recommend you do so. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more Platinum grinds. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.